Hey everyone, and welcome. This is the start of, I guess, an off-stream playthrough of games. I think I'd mentioned while I was streaming that because of the whole situation with me moving, I'm not getting to do as much afternoon stuff. So Skyrim is kind of on the back burner, but this gives me a chance to try out something that I wasn't entirely sure about streaming because I believe it could be quite, take up a lot of time, and there's a lot of potentially a lot of reading. I have played Divinity Original Sin and Divinity Original Sin 2, which I think are quite similar. That was co-op PS4. So again, I'm playing this on PC, so there's going to be a lot of me pressing the wrong keys all this fucking time. Oh man. But yeah. So it'll probably be short segments. Just while I can fit in recording here and there. I guess we'll get started. I'll probably be reading through most of the information that's available. A new game. I did have a quick look because I had to take my time to get my settings set up because for some reason if I have the game capture, the mouse cursor doesn't appear. So it'd be a little bit strange for me selecting things. So I've got the display capture through OBS. So it's yeah. I might have to do a little bit of editing, take out random like scenes in my background. Okay. I don't want to story time. I want a little bit more. It's like, yes, exploration would be good. Storytime modes for players who are more interested in exploration, story development, and the challenge of combat. While storytime is active, the enemy composition of battles is the same as normal, but the game mechanics are biased in the player's favour. Additionally, the party can carry an unlimited number of camping supplies. Do not tempt me, game. Do not tempt me. Easy. Requires minimal micromanagement and easily forgives mistake combat. Strongly recommended for those who are new or recently returning to real-time party-based RPGs. I think it may have to be me because I haven't... It's been a number of years since Divinity and I haven't really touched anything like this in between. We got normal. Requires strategy and efficiency. Forgives a few mistakes in combat. Not recommended for newcomers. I'm probably gonna go easy just to have a nice run through. I do have the next game, Pillars of Eternity, on console, so I don't know how good or bad it's gonna be going console from this. Once I get used to this, I will read through other ones and see what the different, if it's mentioned anything about different modifiers for it. Hard difficulty is suited for Infinity Engine veterans. Looking for a challenge. Survival requires micromanagement and optimization of stats through items, spells, and abilities. Path of the Damned. Enemies receive a bonus to most stats and encounters have many more enemies. Option can't be changed in game. Only intended for players who want the most punishing encounters. Well, I'm guessing these are new things. Okay, expert mode disables a number of helper features. Players who want to rely on faculties and intuition while playing the game should play expert. Selected when you start a new game, cannot be enabled in-game, and if disabled, cannot be re-enabled. Trial of Iron. Only one save file is kept for the entire playthrough. Oh, jeez. Players killed, file is deleted, you must start again. Can't be changed in game. I think it's gonna be easy. No expert. No trial. We're good. This is just a nice, kind of casual playthrough for time when I have some spare time. I don't have this. Maybe this isn't a game I should have done for this. Yeah. We're going easy. I have very little knowledge of this. I think I've seen it being played once or twice. Aside from that, not a a huge amount. So when I was testing it to see how it would run, the loading screens, conversation between characters, talking companions may sometimes interject their opinions and ideas. In scripted interactions, more members of the party are able to participate. I was kind of ashamed that this isn't co-op. This is definitely a game I would co-op. I went through Divinity, Original Sin 1 and 2, and it was really good going co-op because you don't know what someone else is gonna pull off as moves. Like, you split your players and you keep the same ones throughout the playthrough, and then suddenly they're doing something that you would probably never do, and you're like, oh, either in a good way or a bad way.
5 wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness.
I'll tell you what this reminds me of after.
But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
Right, so this whole scene, and even the talking, even though it's just minimal at the beginning of the games, it kind of is, it's letters that are read out. Last Halloween, I'm going to go through a kind of hint of horror games and do that for that section of the year. I played Dracula games, like 5 of them, and just the whole, like, you know, the snowy night, the wagons going through, made me think of this could be a setup for that. Alright, we're done with this. I think it's character creation next. This is probably going to be the rest of what this VOD. Gonna be. Alright, we'll go female. I have no idea what I'm gonna pick. Being on a easier difficulty, I can maybe afford to. I don't know. Usually, I think when I was playing Divinity, I was mostly taking the hard hitters and being the damage dealer. Ah. Wait, so what does it say? What does it say about the different... The place of men in society varies from culture to culture. Cultures like Adir and the Direwood place them at the forefront of military, politics, and heavy labour. Among the tribes of Nas... I fucking love these games for, like, names I have no idea how to pronounce. Nasdaq. Men perform many of the homesteading and organisational duties in Ir Glanfath and Examital. Men and women have more fluid social roles. In all societies, there are exceptions to the rule that men can be found in a wide variety of stations and professions. For the female, a woman's role in Eora is largely dependent on where she's from. In the Adir Empire, Valian republics, in the Direwoods. I'm told they say it, I'm never going to get these right. Women occupy many domestic, educational, and organisational roles. They are primary hunters, soldiers, and leaders of the tribes of Nastak in the Ir Glanfath and Examithal. Women and men have more fluid social roles. In all societies, there are exceptions to rule. Women can be found in a wide variety of stations and professions, so much like the guys. Let's go with female. Humans, commonly called folk. The most common race in the Direwood and Adir Empire. Old Valia and Valian republics. Not as large as the towering Omawa? Omawa? I'm gonna call you Malwambar. Humans are known for their strength and willpower. So you get resolve and might. And this could change depending on what class. Because there'll be some races that are more suited for some classes, I'd imagine. Okay, Omawa. Mighty Omawa, the largest of the Kith races, and are commonly found in or near oceans. They're not truly aquatic, they have an affinity for water, and many of their civilizations, such as Rauatai, are based on naval dominance. They're known for their unparalleled strength. Ah, well, that'd be good for your strength base. I'm +2 might. A dwarf. Please don't sound Scottish. By virtue of land covered, number of colonies settled, dwarves are the most well-travelled race in the world. They're commonly found in the Direwood and Valian republics, almost any colonised land. Dwarves are known for their great strength and tenacity. Ooh, they get 2 might, but they get dexterity and constitution. I just realised I could probably hover over that as well. Elf. Elves are a dominant race in Ir Glenfath, and the white that wins are extremely common in the Direwood and Adir. Elves are known for their speed and intelligence, as well as commonly isolationist nature. Dexterity and perception. Oh, you're so going to be an archer, aren't you? Yeah, so I went with Wood Elf archer. No, yeah, two-handed archer to begin with. Orlan. Orlans are the smallest of the Kith races, though many cultures don't consider them to be civilized at all. Also notable for their large ears, two-toned skin, and hirsute bodies. Orlans are commonly found in Ir Glenfath, the Ixamital of plains, and parts of the Direwood, and known for the mental intensity and sharp senses. Resolve. +1, -1 to might, and +2 perception. Godlike. Holy shit. That's the head. Oh wow, okay. The godlike are children of the Kith civilized races, who have been blessed with physical aspects associated with the gods, though some do not consider it a blessing. These aspects may take many forms, and often come with mystical powers. Aberrant head shapes are typical, and godlike are unable to wear protective headgear. It is near impossible to find anything that fits. Because of their unusual nature and their inability to reproduce, godlike are often viewed with fear and wonder. Dexterity and intellect. So let's see, so we've got resolve. Reflects a character's internal drive, determination, fearlessness, and emotional intensity they can project to others. Useful for mental intimidation, leadership, and convincing performances. In combat, it helps characters maintain concentration and contributes to the will and deflection defenses. Ooh, okay. So something that could increase that would be good. Might. Represents characters' physical and spiritual strength, the brute force, as well as their ability to channel powerful magic. During interactions, it can be used for intimidating displays and acts of brute force. In combat, it contributes to both damage and healing, as well as a fortitude defense. Resolve and might. You have 2 might. Dexterity. It is an abstraction of a character's hand-eye coordination, balance, and overall grace. In interactions, can be used for sleight of hand and fast reactions. In combat, it affects the character's action speed, with all attacks, spells, and abilities, and contributes to the reflex defense. I think it might be an elf archer. Why do I do this every single time? I always want to go archery. Constitution. Combination of the character's overall health and stamina. It was not used much in interactions. It's sometimes checked to withstand pain or endure a physically taxing ordeal. In combat, it affects maximum health and endurance and contributes to the fortitude defense. Okay. You are done. Dexterity, perception. It represents a character's senses as well as their instinctive ability to pick up on details. in interactions can be used to catch someone in a lie. To make an observant comment about their appearance, or to notice something happening in the background. In combat, it contributes to accuracy and reflex defense, and grants a bonus to interrupt. Oh, I definitely want to maybe go for an archer for you. Or Lan. Resolve, might, and perception. I think we'd went over those. Godlike have the new one. Intellect. The character's logic and reasoning capabilities. Interactions can be useful for deduction, sudden realizations, and problem solving. Combat, it contributes to the will defense and influences durations and areas of effects for all abilities and talents. Oh. Right, I'm thinking elf. Dexterity, perception. If we can put some stuff in intellect, that'd be alright. Oh, oh my god, subrace. Oh shit. Okay, wood elf. Oh. I have a feeling that maybe like Skelter folk. Trace their beginnings far north, present day Adir. Migrated south throughout the forests of the continent, now covering it all the way south across the equator. Also believed to have migrated across the sea to Ir Glanfath. Well, physiologically identical to one another, wood elves from Adir are culturally different from those in Ir Glanfath. Consider themselves wholly different groups. Might be the pale elf they're talking about. Distant advantage. Against an enemy that is more than 4 meters away, would elves gain bonuses to accuracy, deflection, and reflex. Definitely seems like an archery one. So the pale one. I mean, if it's pale, it's definitely me then. It's unclear exactly how long ago the pale elves, Glamfelin, came to the southern polar regions of the world. They have lived there for at least 12,000 years based on their continuous contact with Amawa traders. They appear to be among the most stationary ethnic groups in the known world, migrating within the polar region but seldom venturing far north. They are rare in all northern lands, and most people consider them exotic. They have seen one at all. The elemental endurance. All pale elves have increased burn and freeze damage reductions. Okay, so endurance. Represents character's short-term survivability. Damage that is not absorbed by a character's damage reduction goes straight to their endurance and health. Potions and healing magic, such as from a paladin, priest, or druid, can restore endurance in combat. When a character's endurance reaches 0, he or she will be knocked out. A knocked out character can be brought back in combat through use of a revive ability. Otherwise, characters will regain all of their endurance at the end of combat, assuming they're on the winning side. So burn and freeze, it's damage types. 8 damage types in Pillars of Eternity: slash, pierce, crush, burn, shock, corrode, freeze, and raw. Damage types are used to determine how easily a target resists damage of that type based on their damage reductions. A creature or suit of armor may be very resistant to one type of damage, quite vulnerable to another. Some weapons or attacks may do multiple damage types or list an or between their damage types. When an or is listed, the attack will always do the damage type that the target is most vulnerable to. Raw damage is the only damage type that ignores all damage reductions and is generally associated with poisons and similar effects. Kinda want to know what else. Class. Oh, you know we're going to go ranger, but we'll read through these. Start with the barbarian. Brutes, madmen, berserkers. The city-dwelling people often use the term barbarian with a dose of disrespect. These rural warriors are respected by their communities for their ferocity and fearsome presence on the battlefield. Barbarians have a special, almost religious role in some cultures, but in many places the undisciplined, fearless style of the barbarian is simply how warriors conduct themselves. Their starting ability is Carnage. When barbarians hit with melee attacks, they automatically make reduced damage attacks all other enemies within a short distance of the target. So they get a +2 athletics, a +1 survival, endurance 48 plus 16 per level. The health at 6 times endurance. Accuracy 25 plus 3 per per level, average. Deflection is 15, which is low. So what else is here? Hit. Hit is any attack roll that is between 51 and 100. When an attack scores a hit, it is standard damage and has a standard duration. Okay, reduced damage. Okay, that's just damage type, this is fine. Read it already? Athletics is new. Adventuring is tiring work. In addition to the hazards of mortal combat, adventurers have walls to climb, rivers to cross, and pits to leap over. Once per encounter, characters with athletics can use the second wind ability to recover lost endurance. A higher athletics score increases the effect of second wind. In conversations and scripted interactions, athletics is used for physical feats like climbing, swimming, and jumping. Survival allows characters to choose from a variety of long-term bonuses each time they camp. The first 6 ranks grant the following bonuses. 1. Damage reduction. 2. Received healing multiplier. 3. Bonus movement. I love that I spent so long in here that the music's just like, we'll wait for you to do something else before we start again. Okay, 4. Accuracy bonus versus creature type. 5. Increased consumable duration. 6. Bonus damage versus flanked enemies. After the 6th rank, the previously earned bonuses become more powerful in the same order they were received. Survival can also be used in conversations and scripted interactions that involve wilderness challenges or specialised information about nature. I thought maybe the Wood Elves would have natural athletics, but I don't know if these kind of things are rolls only. Endurance. Survivability. I think we're at on. Yep. Health. Long-term damage only regained through rest and certain talents. Damage is not absorbed. That is not absorbed by a character's damage reduction. Goes straight to their health and endurance. When a character's health reaches 0, they will either be maimed or killed, depending on game settings. A maimed character who is reduced to 0 health will always be killed, regardless of settings. Unlike endurance, a character's health does not get restored after combat, but characters have much larger health values than endurance values. Accuracy of almost every attack influences how likely the attack is to affect the target. Accuracy is defined primarily by a character's class and level, but is also influenced by perception, talents, and other active effects, such as spells or items. When an attack is made, accuracy is compared to the approximate defense on a target to determine how the attack roll will be modified. If accuracy is above the target's defense, it will be more likely to result in a hit or crit, less likely to result in a graze or miss. Any ability or talent that does not use a weapon as part of the attack gains a small accuracy bonus based on the level of the character. And deflection. Defense used to resist direct melee and ranged attacks against the character that are not area of effect. It is defined by the character's class, level, and resolve, but may also be influenced by shields, certain weapons, talents, and other effects from spells or items. Okay, Chanter. Every culture across Eora, there are chanters. Many historians consider chanters to be the most ancient workers of magic. Their hallowed phrases stirring the collective memory of wayward souls around them, compelling them to generate magical effects. In a kind of reenactment. In some societies, chanters form organised groups of storytellers and researchers. But in most parts of the world, they are just a time-honoured part of local folklore. Or folk traditions, rather. Certain abilities, phrases/chants. All chanters can continuously speak chants made up of magical phrases. Phrases produce passive effects, help build up a chanter's power until they can use an invocation. It's passive. Talent or ability is one that can be added to a character, where the bonus is gained automatically. For example, a character with snake's reflexes gains their bonus to reflex saves automatically. Invocations. Powerful magical effects that chanters can create after they have spoken a required number of phrases through their chants. Like a +2 lore represents characters' accumulated miscellaneous knowledge and trivia, often of occult or esoteric topics. Outside of conversations and scripted interactions, lore is used to activate scrolls. Higher lore values allow the character to use higher level scrolls. Okay. Mechanics. Oh, traps and locks. I feel like there's a lot more potential areas to spec into. Okay, traps and locks can be a problem for even the toughest adventurers, draining their resources and maiming or killing those who are unfortunate enough to trigger an unforeseen floor plate. The mechanics skill makes it easier to open locks and find and disable traps. Additionally, any character can use the mechanics skill to place traps of their own. The higher the mechanics skill, the more accurate the trap. In conversations and scripted interactions, mechanics can be used to activate or disable a variety of machines. Right. So endurance 36 plus 12 per level, which is very low. Health is 4 times endurance. God, is low. Accuracy and deflection. Well, deflection's high. Okay, Cipher. A recent discovery of the Eastern Reach ciphers were once called... How do I pronounce that? Rishalgwyn Mindhunters by the Glanfathans. Ciphers have the ability to directly contact and manipulate another person's soul and psyche, using an ally's or enemy's essence as a focus for their magic. Though most ciphers are still found in Eastern Reach, practitioners of the techniques have spread throughout the known world. They are gaining acceptance over time, but are generally distrusted, especially by the uneducated. Their starting ability, they have powers. Ciphers can directly target allies and enemies with powerful soul-focused effects. These powers cost focus, which ciphers build through the use of their soul whip. They get some stealth. Allows characters of any class to attempt to avoid being seen or heard, used automatically whenever the character is in scouting mode. Higher the character's skill, the closer they can get to enemies before being detected. We've been through lore and mechanics. They start with very low endurance, so 36 plus 12 per level. The health is low, 4 times endurance. The accuracy 25 plus 3 per level, which is average, and deflection 20, which is average. A druid. Animists at heart. Druids tap into the spiritual power that flows through the simple living things in Eora. Plants, animals, and sometimes even living stone. While not necessarily religious, druids do have a reverence for the natural world and a keen interest in understanding its mysteries. In most cultures, druids are understood as a sort of primal magician. Among the Glanfathians, Nasataki, and many rural cultures, they may have high positions of influence and authority. Oh, it's got a weapon though. Certain abilities. Spirit Shift. All druids have mastered one animalistic form. Forms give the druid strong melee abilities, granting additional power while the druid is shifted. And spells. Have access to a variety of offensive, some support-oriented spells. Every 2 levels, druids automatically gain access to an additional set of spells. Initially, their spells can be cast a limited number of times per rest. As druids gain power, their weaker spells eventually shift to power and counter use. Get +1 to lore and +2 to survival. Endurance is very low. Oh god, health is low. Very low for accuracy, and their deflection is also low. So, per rest. Per rest ability can only be used for a set number of times before running out of uses. For example, an ability that has 3 uses per rest may only be used 3 times. To regain these uses, the character must rest. Fine. And per encounter ability can only be used for a set number of times per combat. For example, an ability that has 3 uses per encounter may only be used 3 times during a single fight. End of combat, the uses will be refilled for the next encounter. Fighter. Fighters form the front line of disciplined armies across the Eastern Reach. Though they are most commonly found in cultures with an organised martial structure, Fighters can also be encountered as wandering mercenaries, bodyguards, and other types. Sellswords. A common element unifies fighters is their heavy focus on endurance and melee defense. They start with constant recovery, continually regenerate endurance, and modest rate during combat. They get +1 to athletics, lore, and survival. Endurance is 42 +14 per level, which is average. The health is 5 times endurance, considered high. Accuracy 30 +3 per level, which is very high. And deflection 30, which is very high too. Recovery. Amount of time that a character spends between actions. Longer actions result in proportionally longer recovery. Armor also has a large effect on recovery. Generally, heavier armor inflicts longer recovery penalties. Okay, monk. Monks belong to a variety of fighting orders that sprung up in Examital and Eastern Reach over the past few centuries. While many monastic orders can trace their teachings to the enduring founder, Teletak, individual organizations vary greatly in their focus, morality, and ethics. Common folk respect the incredible discipline of monks, see them as an odd, unpredictable bunch who may not be entirely sane. Even mercenaries and other adventurers aren't sure what to make of them. Their starting ability is Transcendent Suffering. When monks have no weapons equipped, their unarmed attacks are exceptionally powerful. Continue to increase in damage as they gain levels. Wounds. As monks are damaged, their pains generate wounds. Wounds can be used to power many of the monk's special abilities. They have stealth, athletics, and survival +1. They get 42 +14 per level endurance, which is average. Health is 6 times endurance, very high. Accuracy 30 +3 per level, very high. Deflection of 25, which is high. Paladin. Martial zealots devoted to a god, a ruler, or even a way of life. Can be found in any culture where a fanatical group of like-minded individuals have formed a warrior society dedicated to advancing their cause. Among those aligned to their worldview, paladins are viewed with respect and admiration, if a bit of fear. Many paladins hold leadership positions in armies and mercenary companies, but in the heat of battle, their fanaticism often overrules chain of command and common sense. Starting ability, faith and conviction. Paladins have an inherent bonus to all of their defenses, but of course the value of this bonus may shift based on reputations the paladin gains relative to the behaviours preferred by his or her order. You get a +2 athletics and 1 to lore. Get 42 +14 per level for endurance, which is average. Health is 5 times endurance, considered high. Accuracy 25 +3 per level, average. Deflection is 20, which is average. Priests. Priests are devotees of Eora's deities and practitioners of religious magic. While all priests dedicate themselves to specific gods, priests' power is actually derived from their personal beliefs. In contrast to most paladins, priests tend to focus on philosophy, teaching, and the relationship of religious organizations with common folk. And the reception of priests in any given part of the world depends largely on how their god is revered or reviled by the people who live there. Certain abilities. Holy Radiance generates a modest amount of endurance for allies around the priest. Any enemy vessels caught in the area take burn damage and may be frightened. Over the course of the game, power of this ability may shift based on reputation the priest gains relative to the behaviours that are preferred by his or her deity. Spells. Priests have access to a variety of support and some offense-oriented spells. Every 2 levels, the priest automatically gains access to an additional set of spells. Initially, their spells can be used a limited number of times per rest. As they gain power, their weaker spells eventually shift to per encounter use. They get a +1 to athletics, +2 to lore. Endurance 36 +12 per level, very low. Health 4 times endurance, which is low. Accuracy 20 +3 per level, very low. Deflection 15, low. And you have a look, so frightened. Resolve and dexterity are reduced by 2. And accuracy is reduced by 10. Alright. Ranger. This is what I'm interested in. Are warriors of the woodlands and masters of the hunt. Always partnered with soul-bonded animal companions. Can be found in wild spaces all over the world. Their lifestyles often tend toward independence and isolation. It is rare for rangers to become an integral part of a large fighting force. They are often employed as scouts and guides. The starting ability, they have Animal Companion. All rangers share a strong bond with an animal companion. Companion fights at the ranger's command is extremely valuable for its ability to run interference. Animal companions don't do much damage, but have high damage reduction. The link between ranger and companion is powerful. One goes down in battle, the other suffers as well. Oh shit, okay. Get a +1 to stealth and a +2 to survival. Endurance. 36 +12 per level, which is very low. Oh no, health is 5 times endurance, which is high. Accuracy 30 +3 per level, very high. Deflection is 20, which is average. I'd also consider rogue, but I'm not sure. As much as I like the idea of being up close and personal and, like, you know, sneaky and stabbing people, it doesn't often go well for me in any games that I play or try to play like that. So rogues are vicious killers, feared for the brutality of their attacks. They can be found as often in dark back alleys as the heart of battlefield skirmishes. They're unpredictable and undisciplined. Rogues are commonly used as shock troops or as a part of a surprise assault. Their withering attacks breaking enemy ranks and morale. Rogues tend to congregate in larger numbers in cities, where they can be steadily employed as mercenaries or hired muscle. The starting ability, Sneak Attack, applies bonus damage to the rogue's ranged and melee weapon attacks when the target has any of the following afflictions: blinded, flanked, hobbled, paralysed, petrified, prone, stuck, stunned, or weakened. It also applies to any target or rogue strikes with a weapon within the first 2 seconds of combat. They get a +1 to stealth and a +2 to mechanics. Their endurance is 36 +12 per level, very low. Health is 4 times endurance, low. Accuracy 30 +3 per level, very high. Deflection 15, low. What do we have? Shock troops. Oh, we've read that one already. So shock troops goes over damage types. The afflictions, that's new. Afflictions are explicitly bundled sets of status effects that can be applied to suspendees or fully removed from a character. While some afflictions have explicit overriding or exclusivity rules, most afflictions can coexist with other afflictions. When a spell is cast on a target, and it is subordinate, start again. When a spell is cast on a target, it and its subordinate effects and afflictions are all bundled together in a procedurally bundled container created by the spell. If these procedurally bundled containers are applied within while an identical version is in effect, e.g. blessing cast on someone already under the effect of a blessing, the new version replaces the old. No matter how many effects are on the target, generally only the best bonuses and the worst penalties are applied. Some creatures can be immune to one or more afflictions. If so, these afflictions cannot be applied to these creatures. So, blinded, accuracy is reduced by 25 for all sources. Oh, perception is reduced by 4, movement is reduced by 2, reflex and deflection are reduced by 20. Flanked, deflection is reduced by 10. Hobbled. Hobbled characters have their dexterity reduced by 2, movement by 1.5, and reflex by 20. Paralysed. Paralysed target can't take any action, their dexterity is set to 0, and their reflex and deflection are reduced by 40. Overrides, stunned, stuck, and prone. Petrified character's soul temporarily transforms their body into a mobile brittle stone. They suffer the same effects as being paralysed, but attacks do greatly increase damage. Overrides, paralysed, stunned, stuck, and prone. Prone characters can't take Ooh, action. Dexterity is reduced by 2, reflex and deflection reduced by 10. Stuck. Or rooted. Able to act but unable to leave their current location. Dexterity is reduced by 2, accuracy is reduced by 5 for all sources. Reflex and deflection are reduced by 20. Stunned. Characters can't take any action. Dexterity, perception, intellect are reduced by 4. Reflex and deflection are reduced by 30. Overrides, stuck and prone. And weakened. Weakened characters have their might and constitution reduced by 2. Movement is reduced by 1. Fortitude and will are reduced by 20. Okay. And lastly, we have the wizard. Masters of academic magic. Wizards are students of arcane traditions that stretch back beyond the boundaries of recorded history. Wizards are a highly organised group, often forming academies or guilds devoted to research and development in magical studies, and tend to favour environments where inquiry, experimentation, debate, and the dissemination of knowledge are encouraged. Many accomplished wizards eventually become known for their eccentricity, their egos, and their unquenchable interest in all things arcane and occult. Starting abilities. Arcane Assault. Mid-range attack that hits a small area for raw damage and can leave targets dazed. That's new. Dazed victims' accuracy is reduced by 10, dexterity, perception, and intellect are reduced by 2, and attack speed is reduced by 15%. Okay, so they also start with spells. Wizards have access to a variety of offensive and personal defense spells. Unlike priests and druids, wizards learn individual spells that they store in and cast directly from their grimoires. Grimoires can only hold 4 spells of each spell level. It motivates wizards to keep multiple grimoires for different needs. Every 2 levels, wizards gain access to an additional set of spells. However, they can automatically learn 1 spell of any level they can access each time they advance. Wizards also have the option of learning spells from grimoires they find or buy. Initially, their spells can be cast a limited number of times per rest. As wizards gain power, the weaker spells eventually shift to per encounter use. They get a +2 to lore and a +1 to mechanics. Endurance 36 plus 12 per level is very low. Health is 4 times endurance, low. Accuracy 20 plus 3 per level, very low. Deflection 10, very low. So I said ranger. I would, I think if I was going with a different class, I would maybe look at the subclass. Wow, I say subclass. No, I think maybe different animals and whatever other offshoots they can have per class. So we have, oh, we need to pick one. Okay, ranger abilities focus on granting additional offensive abilities to the ranger, increasing the power of their animal companions and strengthening the link between the ranger and the animal companion. Wounding shot. As he or she would be fleeing, as he or she would with fleeing prey, the hunter aims for a spot that will slow the target enemy's progress, hobbling the target and inflicting raw damage over time to it. 2 times per encounters, average speed, range is 6 meters. Interrupt, 0.5 seconds average. Determines how likely a damaging attack is to delay their opponent's current or next action. The roll uses an interrupt value from the attacker derived from perception, that is then compared to the target's concentration derived from resolve. A 1 to 100 roll is made, adding the interrupt. The result is higher than the concentration. The target plays a hit reaction and your current action is delayed. During the duration of the delay is determined by an interrupt strength listed on the weapon or attack. An interrupt applied to a character already suffering from an interrupt, the longer duration will have no effect. Okay, so the effects. If target if successful, hobbled for 10 seconds. Accuracy versus fortitude. I've read the accuracy one. Yeah, fortitude. Resist attacks on internal physical systems of the character, e.g. poison, disease, etc. Defined by a character's class, level, might, and constitution, but can also be influenced by other effects. Okay, user primary attack. Full attack. Many abilities will state they use either a full or primary attack when such abilities are used. When the character applies the effect to an attack with either all currently equipped weapons, full attack, or with their primary equipped weapon. Oops. Primary attack. It means that all the statistics of the weapons still apply, including the damage and other effects that they provide. What to do is a crush. That's the damage type. Here's the aversion to deflection. Resist direct melee range attacks. We've read that one already. Damage types, yep. Okay, or we've got marked prey. Designates a single target's prey, giving the ranger and animal companion a damage bonus against that target. 1 per encounter. Oh. No, does that work for other party members? Or is it only for them? I mean, it does say the ranger and animal companion damage bonus against the target. 1 per encounter, average speed, range 20 meters. Marked for 30 seconds. Huh. Would it be better to potentially stop? I feel like marked prey would be handy. I'm going marked prey. Animal companions. All rangers from a strong spiritual connection with a single creature. Animal companion. The connection allows rangers and their companions to coordinate attacks and efficiently take down prey. In most situations, the companion runs interference while the ranger takes at range. Okay, despite these advantages, there are risks in a relationship. Rangers share a literal life bond with their animal companions. When one is wounded, they can sense it. They can sense it. They feel intense emotional pain. If a ranger or animal companion are knocked unconscious, the partner suffers from bonded grief affecting accuracy and other stats until the downed ally is revived. If a ranger is ever killed, the animal companion immediately dies from grief. Oh no! Unconscious, can't take actions, dexterity 0, reflex deflection reduced by 40. Right. Okay, so I didn't think reading was going to take this long. So it's going to be... I think I'll leave it here, because it'll be easy enough for me to get back to this because I haven't done anything. This has been like 50 minutes nearly going through the character creation, having a look at the rules and the different races and such. There's a lot of information. It will take me a while to get into it because I think it definitely delves deeper into like D&D mechanics. Yes, that'll be it for part 1. I'll try and update when I can with this. I can't promise because, as I said before, the whole situation where I'm in the process of getting stuff packed up and trying to find another place to move to. It's thrown the live streams up in the air. So this is kind of just a little something for me to keep me entertained during the day as well. If I've got any spare hour here or there. But thank you for getting this far. You're happening to watch this. And hopefully I'll be able to update this again soon. The next part will be me running through the animal companions. And by the looks of it, figuring out what attributes, maybe the cultural background, our appearance, and the voice of our character. Sounds like a plan. And thank you again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.